Okay, welcome back, guys, to the Andrei Delic podcast. Episode number, I'm not even sure which one. I think it's 59. It's not important. You guys will have the number. So welcome back, guys. Andrei Delic podcast. So I'm going to be alone. It's going to be a reality check. To be more precise, reality check number 11. So let's get right into it. Okay, so of course, as you guys know, for all my reality checks, there's an intro and a warning. So as you guys already know, it's been a couple of months and years I've been doing this. So no one loves and respects all human beings more than I do, Andrei Delic. No one loves and respects all human beings more than me, Andrei Delic. More than I, more than me, who cares? More than I, Andrei Delic. So having said that, let's get right into it. Let's jump right into it. So now, being February 13th, it's been like close to a month now since Donald Trump's inauguration as the 47th president of the United States. So first of all, I want to say congratulations to Donald Trump and to Elon Musk, of course, because he's kind of like his right-hand man. Now, like I said it many times, I'm not a big Trump fan. I don't really care for Trump. But in today's day and age, in today's society, we need a man like Trump. It's gone way too fucked up to the left. We need a guy like Trump and Musk to bring it more to the center, so more right. So they bring it more to the center. That's what we need. So my thoughts on Donald Trump's inauguration speech. Of course, every speech, they're always going to talk more than what they're actually going to do. That's what politicians are. But like it or not, I was very optimistic in his speech. I felt like in this day and age, he delivered a speech that was necessary for today's day and age, today's world, especially in America, in Northern America, in Canada, and in America. So I'm very confident. I feel like he's gonna go fucking berserk during this 4-year period because it's his second term. He can't get reelected. It's not gonna happen. So he knows that these are my last 4 years. I'm gonna do as much as I can. I'm gonna go as crazy as I can. I'm gonna try to do the most fucked up things I can. Already he just signed like a bill that transgender women cannot compete in women's sports. Thank fucking God he did that. Because, that's just like basic human logic, basic human nature that a transgender woman shouldn't be allowed to play with natural women in sports because there's a huge disadvantage in physical abilities. What else did he do? He named the Gulf of Mexico. He changed it to the Gulf of America. Now, for me personally, that's a little bit funny. Because, okay, maybe he did it for like national pride or whatever. But at the end of the day, like truly, who cares if it's Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America? Who cares what the real name is? And for people watching this podcast, if you go on the internet and you go on Google Maps or on Maps, whatever, and if you go and see, it became the Gulf of America. He actually changed it. Now, for me, in my opinion, that's like a fake national pride because it's just a name. Like, who actually cares? But hey, every little thing counts for Trump, and every little thing counts when it comes to national pride. So I guess why not fuck it, change it to the Gulf of America. But yeah, so in general, my thoughts on his inauguration speech. I love that he touched a lot of bases on what needs to be changed nowadays with all this wokeism, transgender agenda being pushed everywhere, the LGBTQ agenda being pushed everywhere, or DEI being pushed everywhere also, which is the diversity. What is again DEI? It's like you want to put everyone together. So let's say people who generally were less diversified, they try to include them more everywhere. So you put merit to the side and you're going to hire someone who's a part of the DEI just so you hit your quotas. That for me, thank God, he's going to take that off because that's fucking stupid. I don't care if you're a man, if you're a guy, if you're black, if you're white, if you're Christian, if you're Hispanic, if you're Jewish, if you're Muslim, if you're whatever. If you merit the job, then you should get the job. But you shouldn't get the job just simply because you're a minority or a visible minority or a gender, you're a female, or because you're part of the LGBTQ community. You need to merit that job. You need to merit. And that's why meritocracy, I feel like it's coming back, especially now with Trump. And I'm very fucking happy because that's what makes the world go forward. That's what makes us innovate, is when people of merit deserve their job and when they got their job because of merit, not because they're a part of the DEI and whatever. And so also during the inauguration, I remember Elon Musk, he did like the Roman salute, like, oh, my heart goes out to all of you guys. He did a Roman salute. And then, of course, it looks like the Nazi sign what he did. And then, of course, after he done that, the media went crazy, right? On the left especially. Oh, Elon Musk is a Nazi. He did the Hitler salute. He's a Nazi. He, like, look at him. He did the Hitler salute in front of everybody. First of all, Elon Musk isn't a Nazi. I mean, come on, guys. That's far-fetched. That's a far reach. But, of course, like media companies are going to do, they're always going to go in search of the biggest news they can get, the biggest front page they can get. So, of course, they're going to label Elon Musk a Nazi. But let's keep it real. Elon Musk is probably slightly autistic. He's not aware of what he did. And when you watch him and in social settings, he's a little bit weird. Of course, fucking the guy is a fucking genius. He invented Tesla, SpaceX, many other companies. The guy is a genius, a modern day fucking Albert Einstein or Nikola Tesla or whatever. But when it comes to social settings, he's a little bit autistic. And that's why he did the Roman salute, thinking that, like, he didn't realize that people are going to think that, bro, what the fuck, did you just do the Nazi salute? Of course he didn't. Elon Musk isn't a Nazi, like we all know. But I gotta admit, the way he did it, I mean, did look like a little bit like the Nazi salute, but it's like an old Roman salute or whatever. Like, my heart goes out to all of you guys. And that's what it was. But of course, the left media is going to try and push the agenda that Elon Musk is a Nazi, but come on now. Okay, so recently, I know that Drake and LeBron James have always been really good friends, and probably even some of their best friends, they've been really close to each other. But recently there was a little beef. I'm not sure what sparked the beef. I think it was LeBron going on Kendrick's side during the rap beef, and then Drake got mad and wanted to fucking like throw him under the bus. And that's when Drake said that LeBron cheats on Savannah James, which is LeBron's wife. Her name is Savannah James. And then DJ Academics, who is a big Drake fanboy, also got on the train and said, yeah, that's true. I heard many stories of LeBron cheating on his wife. Drake said that when LeBron would join his parties in Toronto or whatever, that LeBron would cheat on his wife. Now, listen, my thoughts on this is, first of all, Drake should have never said that, or DJ Academics, because that's the bro code. I mean, if a guy cheats on his wife, as a bro, especially Drake was one of his best friends, they were very fucking close, you don't say that, especially not publicly in front of millions of people. And of course, he broke the bro code. But at the same time, it's like, if you're not dumb, everyone knows that LeBron James, like, probably cheats on his wife. Like, even if we never heard speculations or gossip here and there, I mean, if you probably guessed that, yeah, like when I see videos of LeBron James in Toronto partying during Caribana, what was the name? I'm not sure, Caribana, whatever. I mean, I think you're pretty sure that he probably cheats on his wife. Now, of course, it doesn't excuse the fact that what Drake did was gay in a way. I mean, you don't break the bro code like that. But at the end of the day, I mean, come on, LeBron. Like, even Savannah knows that you cheat on her. And maybe they even have an agreement between LeBron and Savannah that just isn't known publicly, that no one knows. That, like, you know what? You're allowed to cheat on me as long as it's just for physical pleasure. And, like, maybe, you need to wear safety and whatever. I'm pretty sure they have an agreement between each other. Of course, they're never going to admit it publicly. Maybe they don't. But even if they don't, Savannah knows that when Drake goes to Toronto to party and when he's all alone or when he goes to Drake's parties, whatever, she probably knows, yeah, he's probably cheating on me physically. But when everything is finished and done, when he goes back home, Savannah is his wife and they have children together, they have a life together, and that's what it is. So that's how it is, guys. I mean, come on, the guy's fucking LeBron James, man. Maybe he's like this, you know what, maybe he loves his wife so much and he respects the concept of marriage so much that he doesn't cheat on her. But if I had to bet money on it, he cheats on his wife. I mean, come on now. Okay, so like I was saying, while talking about men cheating on women, whatever, Women generally, of course, they look for the best man that they can get. So if he makes more money, better. If he's better looking, sure, why not? If he's higher social status, even better. If he has more power, even better. But the more that a woman searches for a higher, what is that he say again? High quality man. Like the higher quality man that she looks for, the more chances is that he has multiple women, and that even if you get in a relationship with him, there's big chances that he will cheat on you with other women because he's a high quality man. I hate that term because fucking, what's his name? Andrew Tate abused that word and many other red pill podcasts. But it's a fact. So if a woman wants to be with, let's say, Leonardo DiCaprio, who's a fucking Hollywood sex symbol, he's known all around the world, he has millions and millions of dollars. Even if you do get in a relationship with a guy like him, or him specifically, I mean, you cannot be surprised when you find out that he cheats on you. I mean, that's fucking Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, you should like already know by basic knowledge that, okay, maybe I'm gonna be with him for a couple of years because, as you guys know, DiCaprio, once he hit 25, he lets his girlfriends go once they hit the age of 25. But you should like basically already know that there's big chances he's gonna cheat on me. Not just him. If you're a random girl who's just really hot and you get in a relationship with fucking Ja Morant, who's a young NBA star, there's big chances he's gonna cheat on you again. Now, of course, not everyone. I mean, but in general, big chances. And the higher you reach for a higher status man who has more money, more fame, more social status, more power, whatever, the higher the chances are that he cheats on you. And that's a fact. Now, physical cheating, he'll probably never be with them. He'll still be with you, but he'll physically cheat on you when you go somewhere or whatever, in a party or whatever. So while still talking about cheating, men and women don't cheat for the same reasons. I said this many times. Let me just grab some water from my golden cup. Like I said many times, they don't cheat for the same reasons, in my opinion. Now, of course, you guys can say, no, you don't know what you're talking about. From my experience, blah, blah. But this is from my experience and from my opinion. I feel like men, when they cheat, 99% of the time, it's only for physical pleasure. And when women cheat, it's for mental pleasure in a way that they're looking for, because her man stopped giving her attention, and then she'll go in search of another man who will give her that attention and all of that. And that's what she looks for. So when a woman cheats on a man, it's bigger than when a man cheats on a woman. It's a bigger impact, because when a man cheats on a woman, he can still love his woman to death. He can love her more than anyone or anything in this world, but he will still cheat on her physically. But a woman, once a woman cheats on her man, she stopped loving him. And that's a fact, because for her, it's not only physical. Now, of course, physical does play a part, but it's not only physical. It's more for the mental aspect and for the attention that she is seeking from her man, but her man isn't giving her any more attention. So she'll go and find or in search of it somewhere else. And then once she finds it somewhere else, she will leave her current boyfriend to be with that guy. That's how it is. From my experience, guys, from what I saw, from living 24 years on planet Earth, that's what I saw, what I heard, and that's my opinion. So like I said in the beginning, with Trump being in office, and I said many times, I'm not a big fan of him. There's a lot of aspects of him that you can hate, that any normal person will hate from him. But he's bringing meritocracy back, and he's ending wokeism, which I feel like 99% of people are fucking sick and tired of wokeism, because I feel like that's only 10% of the population are woke, maybe even less, maybe like 5%. Like I said, I never met someone who's woke. I never interacted with someone who's woke. Only once, I'm in my university classes when I guess when the teacher interacts with people, with the students, and he asks them questions, then when I see their answers, then I'm like, okay, here are the woke people. But like I said, I'm only amongst them in classes. I don't really talk with them. I don't interact with them. I don't hang out with them. So that's a big minority. Those people in my class, they're a big minority. And like I said, 99% of people are sick and tired of wokeism, of DEI, of whatever. They're sick and tired. And Trump, he's a guy who is also sick and tired of it, and he represents that ideology. Even though, like I said, he's not the greatest individual. He got caught paying a porn star to have sex with her, but for her to keep a quiet hush money. They call it hush money. He did many things, right? I mean, he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein, and many business deals. He didn't pay his workers. He ended up for like fraud or whatever. He had to go to court for many business deals. All his businesses went bankrupt. His casinos went bankrupt in Atlantic City. There's many things you can say against Trump, but right now in this day and age, he represents an ideology of where meritocracy exists and where wokeism doesn't exist. And that's why people voted for him, because they're sick and tired of fucking all of this wokeism and whatever. Okay, so like I said before, I don't know how I skipped it, but talking about women and men cheating, I feel like women love attention as much as men love sex. So that's why I feel like when men cheat, it's purely for the physical pleasure of having sexual relationships. But women, they cheat for attention. And that's why I said that, in my opinion, I feel like women love attention as much as men love sex. And that's why there's this famous quote that basically everyone knows now, that women fall in love with what they hear and men fall in love with what they see. That's why men will always lie and women will always wear makeup. And that's why I feel like that's where that quote comes from. And that's why so many people resonated with it, because many people feel like that's the truth. Okay, so recently, guys, I watched the documentary on Netflix that just came out regarding O.J. Simpson and his trial and his documentary of the trial. Of course, for people who don't know, at the end of the day, at the end of the trial, he was found not guilty for killing his wife or girlfriend and another guy who was a server at a restaurant that she was the night before she got killed. And the guy was simply returning the glasses that she forgot at the restaurant. So he came back to her house because they knew each other. She was a regular there. And he was returning the glasses that she left at the restaurant. And I mean, allegedly, O.J. Simpson didn't kill them. But guys, we all know that O.J. Simpson killed them. I mean, what happened is, at that time, in the 90s, race played a big part in everything. And for that trial, I mean, O.J. Simpson, he was a big NFL player. He was also a big movie star. And he represented the black man, of course. But in that court case, the defense lawyers who defended O.J. Simpson, they played the race card a lot because they knew that that they had bigger chance of the jury naming him not guilty if they played that race card. One of the police officers who was the first responded on the murder scene, he was a known racist, a white cop who was a known racist for back in the days. There's like videos of him, testimonies of people saying that, you know what, he was a racist. I have quotes of him saying that, you know what, black people saying the N-word, they all deserve to go to jail. When you see a black guy with and I'm quoting him right now, the racist white cop, when you see a black guy with a white woman, you just arrest him immediately. You don't ask questions. Like it's a known fact around his police precinct that he was a white racist cop. And then the defense lawyers being smart, they used that against him, saying, you know what, are you a racist? And then on oath, he said, no, I'm not. But then they came up with all the facts and that ruined his credibility, because if he lied for that, what else did he lie for? That's one thing that they fucked up. The prosecuting team. That's one thing that he fucked up, was him lying, of him not being a racist. He should have said, yes, I'm a racist, but I'm not a liar. Because when he said that he wasn't a racist and they find out and they proved that he was a racist, then he just showed to the world that he's a racist and a liar. But if he would have just said, yes, I'm a racist, but I'm not a liar. So when I arrived at a crime scene, I'm not a liar. I didn't cheat the crime scene. I didn't plant evidence or whatever. Then there would have been a possibility of him doing his job well. But since he lied on under oath, that's what fucked up his credibility. So that's one thing. The second thing is, in that jury, the jury was afraid to call him guilty because they were afraid that if they were to call him O.J. Simpson guilty, who was a known celebrity, a big name in the black community in America, they know that if they were to call him guilty, to announce him guilty, that they will get a lot of backlash and that society would call the jurors racist, because at that time it was a big part. So that's a second, also that's also an aspect of the trial. And the third aspect is plain and simply the main prosecutor, which was a woman. I'm not sure what her name was. she was fucking dumb during that prosecuting team. She didn't say a single thing almost. She should have done her job way better, way better. Because at the end of the day, he was found not guilty. While we all know, I mean, all the evidence was there. But since in America, if there is a reasonable doubt, you are innocent. And the jurors felt like there was a reasonable doubt for calling him not guilty. And all the BS of one of the guys one of the lawyers on the prosecuting team asking OJ to try on the gloves, which was a known fact that those were the gloves that the killer used to kill the woman and the server. But those gloves were drenched in blood and then dried out in the sun, which made the gloves shrink. Not only that, OJ at the time would take pills for his arthritis on his hands. And whenever he didn't take those pills, his hands would get bigger because they would I don't know why, but his hands would get bigger. So his team, his defense lawyer team told him, don't take your pills because your hands are going to get bigger. And not only that, but the gloves shrunk because of blood and because they were drying in the sun. But the prosecuting team was dumb. They asked OJ Simpson if he was ready to try on the gloves. And not only that, before trying on the gloves, he put on some latex gloves, OJ Simpson, so he doesn't put his DNA or his fingerprints in the gloves, or he doesn't abolish the glove by whatever. So he had latex gloves on, which would make his hands bigger. He didn't take his prescription pills for arthritis, which also made his hands bigger. And the gloves were soaked in blood and then dried out in the sun, which made them shrunk. And that's why, of course, if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. The famous quote of his defense attorney. And plus, if you look at the video, when you see OJ Simpson trying on the glove, you can see him it's not fitting. But you can see him wait, if someone was to push well, it would have fit. Even if it shrunk in the sun, it still would have fit. Of course, it would have been tighter. But taking into the argument that everything that happened with the gloves shrinking, I mean, guys, that was a poor decision on the prosecuting team. And even the main police officer who was for the investigation, he said they should have never asked OJ Simpson to try on the gloves, because once they saw that the gloves didn't fit, that helped the case for OJ Simpson, for him not being the killer, and that helped his defending team of lawyers. But we all know fucking OJ Simpson. We all know he killed those people. Okay, so now recently on social media, I see many clips or posts or whatever of girls getting mad or surprised that men don't sing love songs to women anymore, like they did before in the 1950s or whatever. So let's be honest. What happened is hoeflation. Hoeflation happened. Nobody's gonna sing songs about hoes. No one. Before, there was less hoes, and that's why men sang songs for those women, and that's why men went to war and were ready and willing to die for their family members, for their sons, for their women, for their wives, whatever. But now, like I said, on social media, there's a lot of women posting videos, posting clips, or posting posts or stories, whatever, posting content on social media saying that women don't sing love songs to women before like they did before. Now it's all about rappers disrespecting women in their lyrics, which is what they do, calling them bitches and whatever. But before, of course he did it, because before also women weren't like they are now. I saw someone in the comments saying hoeflation happened. I love that word, because inflation, of course, as you guys all know, hoeflation. Now, of course, not every girl is a hoe. There's still many good girls, but maybe there's a bit more hoes. Maybe I should research that, but I don't know how the fuck I can research that. Go on social media, I don't know, make a post, make a poll, whatever. But from living on this world, I feel like there are more hoes than before. But again, there's no valid research to back my claims. I mean, no one's done a sociological research on it. Maybe I should. I'm a sociology student. Maybe I should, and maybe I could. But I don't know how, because a girl can simply lie and say, no, I only have 5 kills or whatever. So I don't know how, but I feel like we all feel it's the same thing. It's all hoeflation, and that's why Men don't sing love songs anymore to women. Maybe they still do. I mean, Justin Bieber, right? Shawn Mendes, Ed Sheeran. I don't really listen to them, but I'm pretty sure when he sings songs, it's about women mostly. So hey, you guys still have it. But like I said, hoflation, guys. And like I was saying for the O.J. Simpson trial, the jurors were afraid, let's call it how it is, they were afraid to be called racist by black people because if they were to find O.J. Simpson guilty. And that's why that's played a big part in O.J. Simpson getting the not guilty verdict. Because as you guys know, the jury and the jurors, they only deliberated for 4 hours. So for a trial that took 1 year of trial, for 1 year, that trial was in trial in front of a judge and in front of the jurors. And they only took 4 hours to deliberate. Only 4 hours. So not immediately, the person said that the first time it was like, there's 12 jurors, so it was 8 against 4. 8 people finding him guilty and 4 finding him not guilty. But as you guys know, all 12 jurors need to, it's not 50%, it's all 12 jurors, 100% need to find someone not guilty or guilty for there to be a verdict chosen. And then once there was 8 against 4, they took another 2 hours and then it became 12-0. 12 people saying not guilty and 0 people saying that he's guilty. Maybe the fact that it was a long process, it took 1 year. And as people don't know, but when you're a juror, you got to stay hidden from society for the entirety of the trial. So you don't get influenced by people or you're not in danger from other people who might want to put your life in danger in order for them to save one of their members who is in court. So you're socially isolated from this society. And maybe they were sick and tired. They just wanted to go home. Maybe they're like, fuck it. Let's just give him a not guilty. He's O.J. Simpson. He's famous. We don't want to get called racist. We don't want to be in danger after the trial, whatever. Let's just call him not guilty. And I feel like many people nowadays, maybe even in that time, but even nowadays, many white people are going to go to the extremes, or not to the extremes, but just do something that shouldn't be done just in order to not be called a racist by a minority group. In my opinion, that's always been dumb. Just say it how it is. If O.J. Simpson, if he's a killer, he's a killer. Even though if he's black, if he's green, if he's white, whatever color, if he's a killer, he's a killer. He's a psychopathic killer. He took a knife and he killed him to death. We all know he did that. So that's why white people shouldn't be afraid, especially in this day and age, to get called racist by other minority groups just because, like I said, because they don't want to get called racist. And that's why they're going to do something that shouldn't be done, or like call him not guilty while he was guilty. So maybe watch that a little bit. And also for people who don't know, only 16% of the world population is white. Only 16%, which is 1.19 billion people out of a total world population of 8 billion. Here it's written 7.4, but I think recently we hit 8 billion mark. And it's also predicted that by 2060, only 10% of the world will be white. That's why, in my opinion, when people say, oh, we need more multiculturalism, we need less white people in white countries, we need more multiculturalism, white people are already 16% of the population, world population. They're already the minority. Like there's way more Asians, way more Indians, whatever. I'm pretty sure there's even more blacks than whites on planet Earth. So saying that we need more multiculturalism and more diversity, it just means like having even less white people in white countries, while white people already being 16% of the population. We're already the minority. Then they want for us to be even more. I don't know why. I don't know why like people in first world countries in the Western world feel like there's too many white peoples. Maybe in our country, which are white countries, of course the majority is going to be white. Of course it's a white country. If I go to Senegal, the majority is going to be black, and by a mile is going to be like 99.9% of black people and 0.1% of like Arabs and white people. But then when you go to white countries in America, it's like 70% of white people and 13% black, and then 15% Latinos, and then like 10% of Asians, something like that. So like I said, all together, we're a big minority, 16% of the population, which is 1.19 billion. And even they predicted by 2060, it's only going to be 10% of the population. And for people saying that there's too many white people in white countries, well, it's a fucking white country. Of course, there's gonna be more white people in white countries, just as much as there's more Asians in China, right? As there's more Indians in India, there's more black people in Africa, in Senegal and Cameroon, or there's more Arabs in Arab countries. That's just fucking normal. But I feel like only we have this multiculturalism of wanting less white people in our countries, which are white countries. In my opinion, that's stupid. I mean, if it's a white country, the majority should be white. Just as much as the majority in China should be Asians, as the majority in Senegal should be black people, Senegalese people, or how the majority in India should be Indians. I mean, it goes the same for everywhere. It goes the same for white people, white countries. So talking about this in the beginning of the episode, about Donald Trump getting in power with Elon Musk, DEI and affirmative action, in my opinion, is the dumbest thing to ever exist and to ever get invented. DEI and affirmative action, if it continues to exist, will destroy the Western world. Because you're giving people jobs and you're putting people in positions that they don't merit. They don't have the necessary skill set to have that job or that position. If now I joke a lot about me being AD for PM, Andrei Delic for Prime Minister. Of course, I'm only 24 years old. I'm not qualified for that job. I don't merit that job. But if someone was to put me in that position right now, without the skill set, I would fuck shit up. I would fuck everything up because I don't have the necessary skills acquired for that position. Same goes for everything else. That's why DEI and affirmative action is the stupidest thing to ever exist and to ever get invented. The faster we get rid completely 100% of DEI and affirmative action, the closer we will get to having a better society, the faster we will innovate, and the faster we will get to an even better society. And if we keep letting DEI and affirmative action dictate our world, our Western world, and dictate our choices, and dictate what, where, and how we will do things, the closer we are to fucking up everything we've built as the greatest part of the world, the Western world, the closer we are to going steps backwards and not forward, and the closer we are to not innovating things, and the closer we are to just fucking up shit because we're giving people jobs and putting people in positions that they don't merit and that they don't have the necessary skill set to join that job or to have that job. And that's why DEI, let me say it again, because I fucking hate DEI and affirmative action. DEI and affirmative action is the worst thing on planet Earth, and is the dumbest thing to ever exist and to ever get invented. So my thoughts on Trump banning transgenders in female sports. I talked about it in the beginning of the episode, but just imagine this. So we're in 2025 right now. Imagine someone in 2005, so 20 years ago, I was 5 years old. Most of you guys were already born. So imagine we were in 2005 right now, and someone felt the need to say that transgender women cannot compete in women's sports. People would be surprised, like, why even mention it? It's it's common sense. It's so logical that you don't even have to mention it. It's like me saying, oh, you know what? This mic is black. But let me mention it. This mic is black. I mean, yeah, no one's blind. No one's colorblind. We all see that the mic is black. Why do you feel the need to say it? Same goes for this. But today's day and age, it became so fucked up during the past 5-10 years that people now, we feel the need to say that transgender women cannot compete in women's sports. Imagine if someone was to say that 20 years ago. People would just be surprised, like, why even mention it? I mean, it's a normal fact. Biological man cannot compete in biological women's sports. There's a huge physical difference in speed and strength, in jumping abilities, in coordination, and whatever. There's a huge physical difference. Why even mention it? I just imagine right now, rest in peace, my grandpa, who from Bosnia, I just imagine him in the 70s and him opening the television and hearing Tito, which at the time was a dictator of ex-Yugoslavia, him mentioning, you know what, guys, we're in the 1975, biological woman and biological man cannot compete in biological women's sports. I just imagine my grandpa not even being angry or happy, just being shocked, like, why did he mention it? Why did he feel like, of course they cannot compete. Like, well, why is he saying that? Is he lost? Like, but now in this day and age, saying that, like, we understand why we need to say it, because it's been a fact for the past like 10, 15 years that transgender women can compete in women's sports. That's how fucked up things have gotten. And that's why I'm backing Donald Trump. Like I said, I don't like him. I hate him even as a person. But what he represents in this day and age, we need that. And that's why I'm backing Donald Trump. Okay, so guys, I'm not sure if you watched the Grammys. I didn't watch it. I don't really watch the Grammys. But I saw like a clip of Jaden Smith. he was wearing like a fucking castle on his head. Jaden Smith, I don't know what the fuck that was. I feel like I understand that you're woke, that you're an artist, and you're like trying to send a message, to spread a message through you wearing a helmet, a hat. I don't know what the fuck it was. It was like a castle on your head. I mean, like, I don't know what the message was behind it. I don't know what kind of message you're trying to send. Maybe it's like, oh, like my head was in a castle, but I shouldn't be in a castle. Bro, it's all gay, bro. I don't know what it was. You didn't look gay. I mean, you just looked weird. The message, knowing how you are, I mean, artsy and whatever, gay, you're probably trying to send like a philosophical message or whatever. But bro, like, you just looked retarded. Like, you literally looked retarded. Yeah, I used the R word. It's back. And I mean, my guy, you just looked retarded, bro. I don't know who gave you that idea, who backed you on that idea. Imagine Jaden Smith talking to his team and saying, yo, guys, I have this amazing idea. I'm going to go to the Grammys, which I don't even deserve to be here because my music sucks. My music is shit. But let me go to the Grammys and let me put a castle on my head. Because, guys, as you guys know, I mean, the world isn't a castle, right? But my head is in a castle. But I shouldn't be in a castle. That's why only my head. I don't know, but guys, I'm just saying whatever. I don't know what the fuck was going through his head, but it was probably something gay. So it probably sounded like something I was just saying right now, and I don't know where the fuck he got that idea. Okay, so recently, as you guys know, in Europe especially, there's many right-wing groups getting more and more popular in Europe, in France, in Spain, in Germany, in Poland, in Italy, especially in Italy with Giorgina Meloni. They get many right-wing groups are getting really, really popular in Europe. And it's a simple fact. I mean, Europeans, white Christian Europeans, are feeling like they're losing their identity. They're losing their national pride. They're losing their personal identity and their national identity. And of course, they want to preserve it. And that's why they cling more to right-wing now, because now in this day and age, Europeans feel like they're slowly losing their national identity. And of course, I mean, British people are proud to be British. French people are proud to be French. Portuguese people are proud to be Portuguese. Spanish people are proud to be Spanish. Italian people are proud to be Italian. It goes for the whole of the European continent. And all in Europe, every single country on planet Earth, people from that country, they're proud to be from that country. So of course, they're going to naturally want to protect their national identity and their culture and their way of life and their philosophy, whatever, their religion, whatever. Of course, same goes for European countries. But now in this day and age, the Europeans, white Christian Europeans, feel like they're losing their identity. So of course, they're going to naturally cling more to the right-wing side, which is to preserve their culture, their national identity, which, I mean, is their identity. Of course, they're going to want to protect it just as much as I always give this example. If, let's say, the population of India is, let's say, 1 billion, if I was to take 100 million white Europeans and put them in India, and those 100 million white Europeans want to start changing the way of life in India, want to start changing the culture, whatever, the 1 billion population of Indians, they're going to stand up and say, we're sick and tired of this shit. This is India. This is not Europe. Let me vote for the right-wing parties so I can protect my national identity. But same goes for Europe, because Europeans don't immigrate to India. Europeans don't immigrate to Africa. They don't immigrate to China or Japan or whatever. People from Africa immigrate to Europe. People from the Arab countries immigrate to Europe. People from India immigrate to Europe, especially in England. And even as a Canadian, we have a lot of fucking Indians. I don't know why. I don't know like what the trend is. how they fucking got here, but we have a lot of Indians. So people from non-white countries immigrate to white countries, and very, very, very rarely do we see people from white countries immigrating to non-white countries. Like, it happens, of course, but very, very rarely. That we don't even talk about it because it's so rare for it to happen. That's why now in the white European countries, people cling more to the right-wing parties. And if I have to make a prediction, I think all of Western Europe, because mostly Western Europe have that problem of immigration. No one, I mean, I'm originally from Serbia. No one in India is going to say, you know what, I want a better life for me and my children. Let me go to Serbia. The fuck, Serbia is also a broken place. No one goes to Serbia. That's why Eastern Europe don't have that problem, because countries in Eastern Europe are way poorer than countries in Western Europe. But nowadays, Western Europeans, they have a lot of unwanted illegal immigration, and they feel like if it continues and it keeps getting more and more, it keeps getting more exponential, that it will affect their national identity and their national culture, their way of life, their culture, whatever. And that's why they cling more to the right-wing side than naturally before to the left-wing side. So recently I saw that on social media, I saw a post that like 72% of armed forces, the Canadian armed forces, are either overweight or obese. 72%. That's a lot, considering that your job, that the physical aspect of your job, the physical aspect plays a big part in your job. A big, big, big part. And this goes for army, for the army, for military personnel. This also goes for cops, for firefighters, for first responders, whatever. If you're a first respondent, if you're a cop, if you're a firefighter, if you're in the army, if you're in the special forces, if you're in the Canadian special forces, whatever, being in shape and not being overweight and not being obese, being healthy and being in shape, in physical shape, in good physical shape, is really, really, really fucking important and plays a big part in your job. It's not like your job is an accountant, so who cares if you're not in shape? Like, you're an accountant, you push paper, you count money or whatever accountants do. For an accountant, who cares if you're in shape or if you're not in shape? But if you're a cop, if you're a firefighter, if you're in the army, if you're in the military, if you're in the special forces, if you're a first respondent, you owe yourself to be in shape. You have to be in shape. It should be a necessity. Not like you know what, if you feel like it, be in shape. No, it should be a necessity. You have to be in shape because that's your job. You're a police officer. What happens if shit hits the fan and you have to use physical strength? You're going to tell me that someone can overpower you or easily manipulate you physically? I mean, that's a shame. You owe society to be in shape. That's your duty. That's your job, to be in shape. And it's a fucking disgrace seeing that 72 to 74% of army personnel in Canada are out of shape or even overweight or even obese. I mean, I don't know how it happened. I mean, I don't know why we don't have stricter rules in terms of that. If we don't, we should, because it's just how it is. It's the nature of the job. You have to be in shape. You have to be in shape. It's, like I said, it's the nature of the job. So we should look into maybe have more restrictions. And I mean, guys, I mean, it's basic knowledge. It's common sense. I mean, it is how it is. I don't care if it hurts their feelings or whatever. You have to be in shape. You have to be a competent police officer. You have to be a competent army personnel. You have to be competent military, infantry, whatever. If you're not competent, well, you can't get the job. I mean, it's just how it is. OK, so je vais faire en français. Je vais boire un peu d'eau. Je vais faire en français. OK, so j'écoute pas trop le rap québécois. Comme j'écoute ça un peu, de temps en temps, peut-être. Si j'écoute 50 chansons, une des 50 chansons va être rap québécois. Même là, peut-être pas autant que ça, à cause j'écoute pas ça vraiment. Mais selon moi, le GOAT du rap québécois, c'est Enima. Selon moi, c'est Enima. Il fait la meilleure musique québécoise, ce que j'ai entendu personnellement. Selon moi, c'est le meilleur rappeur québécois. Mais guys, I mean, je suis pas sûr c'est quoi qu'il a fait. Je sais qu'il a été accusé d'être proxénète ou il a tiré déjà sur quelqu'un, peu importe. Mais live, il est en dehors du pays. Il s'est fait kick out du pays, du Canada, parce qu'il était en recherche pour des actes criminels, puis il s'est sauvé, puis il n'a jamais vraiment eu sa citoyenneté. C'était juste comme un résident permanent ou whatever. Mais guys, juste en voyant sa tête, tu sais qu'il est coupable de quelque chose. Bro, désolé. Anima, comme je t'ai dit, tu fais la meilleure musique québécoise, comme t'es le GOAT du rap québécois. Mais frère, il fallait te kick out avant. Bro, juste envoyer ta tête. C'est déjà que depuis l'âge de 15 ans, tu fais des choses illégales. Là, comme bro. Juste envoyer ta tête. Moi, j'ai dit, moi, je suis le juge. Je dis, qui, lui, moi, j'ai pas besoin de savoir ce qu'il a fait. Pas besoin de preuves. Juste en voyant sa tête, je sais qu'il est coupable. Je sais qu'il est coupable, juste en voyant, juste en regardant. On peut le kick out direct. Il est citoyen? Non, on peut le kick out. Parfait, on le kick out. Ta musique, frère, elle reste la meilleure. Il y a la meilleure musique québécoise. Hein, qu'on t'es le GOAT du rap québécois. Mais frère, Chris, c'est très bien que t'es un criminel. C'est très bien que t'as fait des choses illégales. Il m'a pas besoin de preuves. Juste en te voyant. Moi, je sais même pas de quoi qui te culpabilise. Si c'est parce que t'étais proxénète, c'est parce que t'as déjà tiré. Il me semble, j'ai entendu, t'as été proxénète, pimp. Le monde ne savent pas, proxénète, c'est un pimp. T'as déjà tiré sur quelqu'un, t'avais des armes à feu, peu importe. Mais pour toi, frère, il n'y a pas de démocratie, il n'y a pas d'innocence jusqu'aux preuves du coupable. Bro, en te voyant, G, tu sais déjà que t'as fait des choses illégales. I mean, on va pas se mentir, frère. Il fallait déjà juste te calme. T'as bien fait, t'es parti, I mean. C'est ça que c'est. Là, bien sûr, ça, c'est du satire. Bien sûr, s'il serait pour se faire pogner au Canada, il devrait aller en cour. On reste un pays démocratique. Il reste un gars innocent jusqu'aux preuves du contraire. Puis, il mérite. I mean, c'est ça la démocratie. Il devrait aller en cour. Puis, les procureurs et les procureuses, peu importe, doivent prouver qu'il est coupable. Bien sûr, moi, je suis pour ça. Je fais du satire maintenant, je niaise. Mais comme, Chris, tabarnak, là, t'as vu sa tête, t'as vu l'air de quoi, là, tabarnak. Si t'as pas des preuves contre ça, bro, t'es le pire procureur, t'es le pire policier ever, là. Okay, so recently I saw a clip. I don't think it's a recent clip, but I've seen many clips of sheriffs in America saying that if someone enters your home without your consent, enters your home illegally, you have the right to shoot and kill him. And then he went on to say, actually, we prefer if you kill him because when we get on site, we have less job to do. Imagine that. In Canada, is the complete opposite. If someone enters your house illegally, while you're sleeping, while you're having sex, while whatever, they enter your house illegally, you're not allowed to kill him. If you kill him, you're going to end up going to jail. But imagine this, he entered your house illegally. Who knows for whatever reason. Is it to rob you? Maybe. Is it to kill you? Maybe. Who knows? But if someone enters your house illegally, I think we all know it's not for good reasons. He didn't enter your house to fix your wall. He didn't enter your house to give you money. I mean, he entered your house for illegal purposes. To rob you, to steal something from you, to beat you up, to maybe even kill you, whatever. So in my opinion, the American mentality regarding this is better. If someone enters my house illegally, and imagine in my house, I'm sleeping, my kids are sleeping, and my wife is sleeping, and I hear someone entering my house, one or multiple individuals entering my house illegally without my consent, for whatever reason, and I feel like my kids are in danger, and my wife is in danger. I don't have kids, but if I was to have kids, I would love to have the opportunity to be able to kill them out of respect for my children and out of, protection, to protect my wife and protect my children and even protect my life. Who knows why he entered my house? So, in my opinion, as a sociologist from Ottawa, America's view in this is better. America's point of view and America's philosophy regarding this is better. In my opinion, the guy entered your house illegally. Who knows what the fuck he wants to do? But in Canada, of course, we're not cowboys like Americans. We're different. We're nicer. We're better people in a way, if I can use that term to say that. We're just generally nicer. If someone enters your house while your kids are sleeping, while you're sleeping, and while your wife is sleeping, even if he enters with a gun and he says, I want to kill you and your kids, you're not allowed to kill him. You're not allowed to kill him. Canada, we need to change this shit. I don't know why we still have this law, why it's like this. Like the American sheriff said, shout out to the American sheriff. He's a fucking G. He said, if someone enters their house illegally or without your consent, You have the right to kill him. And we prefer, actually, if you do kill him, because that it's less job for us. Shout out to that sheriff, man. I'm not sure what his name is, but big shout out to that guy. And I feel like Canada, we should do the same. So recently, this past Sunday, it was a Super Bowl. Of course, most of you know. I'm going to talk a lot about the Super Bowl with my brother next week with sports with Andrei Delic for that segment. But I just want to talk about the Super Bowl halftime performance. First of all, it was shit. In my opinion, it was shit. The Super Bowl halftime performance was shit. Now, Kendrick, in my opinion, of course, he's one of the GOATs. I mean, that's Kendrick Lamar. He has like 20 Grammys. He just recently won like 5 Grammys. I mean, I'm not sure if he's the rap artist with the most Grammys, but he's up there, that's for sure. There's probably like him, Jay-Z, Drake, Eminem, whatever. But he's one of the GOATs. I mean, there's no denying it. But the halftime show, in my opinion, was shit. Now, I don't hate Kendrick Lamar. He makes good music, or he used to make good music. I mean, the Damn album was really good. His previous songs were also really good, like Drank or many other songs. I mean, he's a good artist, whatever. But I feel like right now he's milking the song Not Like Us. And I feel like those 15 minutes of his Super Bowl performance was like 80% of it was just against Drake. Like, I mean, come on, bro. You should have played all your hits. Humble, Swimming Pools, Drank, all those songs. You should have played those songs, but you didn't play a single song. You only played Not Like Us and all these new songs, which aren't your best songs. I mean, I think you played Humble. Humble is probably your greatest song of all time. You played Humble, which is a fantastic song. I love it. I'm a big fan. But in my opinion, also it was in New Orleans. That's why, for people who don't know, I'm a big Lil Wayne fan. In my opinion, he's also one of the GOATs, one of the greatest rappers of all time. And it being in New Orleans, Lil Wayne is the greatest, not only rap artist to come out of New Orleans, but he's just in general the greatest musical artist to ever come out of New Orleans. So that's why I was pissed that it wasn't Lil Wayne who was chosen to be the Super Bowl halftime performance in New Orleans. He's one of the GOATs. In my opinion, he's better than Kendrick Lamar. Now, maybe stats wise, even there, I mean, Lil Wayne he's a GOAT, man. He's a legend. Stat wise also he has many Grammys also. He sold out a lot. He sold a lot of albums, songs, whatever. He's one of the most streamed rappers. But also, of course, I'm biased. Lil Wayne is one of my favorite artists of all time, Lil Wayne. So I was just pissed that he wasn't chosen to be the Super Bowl halftime performance. I would have fucking loved it. I feel like he has a lot of bangers. And the way they rap is different, right? I prefer Lil Wayne's way of rapping than Kendrick Lamar's way of rapping. But in general, my thoughts, I feel like it was a shit performance. Maybe not a shit performance. It wasn't the best performance. If it should have been Lil Wayne. And if it was to be Lil Wayne, I think it would have been better. Imagine Lil Wayne playing his greatest hits. 6 foot, 7 foot. Oh my God, I would have been fucking crazy, man. In New Orleans, NFL, I don't know who decides who the Super Bowl halftime show is, but y'all fucked up with this choice of choosing K-Dot instead of Lil Wayne. Weezy, man. Y'all should have chosen Weezy for this one. He's one of the GOATs, and it would have been amazing, man. Okay, so I hear many people calling Elvis Presley a culture vulture, or even calling Eminem a culture vulture. So my opinion, guys, I hear many people, even recently with the new movie of Elvis Presley, and then many people on social media, podcasts, whatever, commenting, oh, Elvis Presley isn't the king. He stole from black people. He's a culture vulture. Same goes for Eminem. He cannot be the king because he's always going to be a guest in the house of hip-hop, in the house of rap, because he's white. Or same goes for Elvis. First of all, Elvis Presley will always be the king of rock and roll. He didn't steal anything. I mean, it's not stealing. Maybe, of course, he was influenced by everything that was around in his time. So, of course, hearing black gospel, of course, that's going to influence him. Hearing white country music, of course, that's going to influence him. He's a product of his environment, as we all are. We're all products of our environment. So if his environment had black gospel music, had white country music, well, of course, he's going to take those two and mix them in a way and become Elvis Presley and make Elvis Presley music. Because at the end of the day, he wrote his music, he made his music. So that's Elvis Presley music. That's not black music, it's not white music, it's not Serbian music, it's Elvis Presley music. And at the end of the day, his music is phenomenal, in my opinion. Even now in 2025, I still find his music phenomenal. And guys, Elvis Presley will always be the king of rock and roll. Of course, and then there's the king of pop, which is Michael Jackson. But Elvis Presley, he didn't steal anything. He's not a culture vulture. Of course, he's a product of his environment, as we all are, like I already said. And of course, he's going to take influence from left and right. He's going to hear stuff here, hear stuff there. But at the end of the day, he's going to take his entire environment, his entire personality, his entire who he is as an individual. And of course, at the end, he's going to make Elvis Presley music, which made him the king of rock and roll. Same goes for Eminem. I mean, people saying Eminem is a culture vulture. Of course, rap comes from black people in America. Of course, it's their music. But that doesn't mean that only black people can rap. If you're white and you can rap, well, hey, good for you. Go and make money out of it. If you can make money out of it, who gives a fuck? It's like saying, oh, soccer was invented by the UK, so only English people can play soccer. That's like one of the dumbest takes someone could say. Same goes for rap music. Oh, only black Americans invented rap, so only black Americans can rap. I mean, guys, yes, you guys invented it. Kudos. It's my favorite genre of music too. It's like the genre of music I listen to the most, American rap. But at the end of the day, everyone is allowed to go and rap. A Serbian's allowed to rap if he wants to. An Indian, a Chinese, not only black Americans, a white American can rap also if he wants to. Same goes for, imagine if now someone was to say, you know what, Gucci was invented by Italians, by an Italian guy, right? I'm not sure what his name is, but his last name is Gucci. So only Italians are allowed to wear Gucci. Louis Vuitton was invented by a French guy, so only French people are allowed to wear Louis Vuitton. European football was invented by a British guy, so only British people are allowed to play European football. I mean, guys, you're never going to hear that claim because that's fucking stupid. And British people are never going to make that claim because they know that if they were to make that claim, everyone would laugh at them and everyone would call them stupid. And like I said, British people invented football. They're not even the best at it. Brazilians are the best at it. Who cares? Like I said once, English people invented football, but Brazilians adopted football and raised football. They brought football to a different level, to another level. They are the kings of football. Brazilians are the kings of football. Yes, the British invented it, but the Brazilians adopted it and made kings out of it, made a king sport out of it, and they became the kings of football, which they are the kings of football. And you never hear a British guy saying, you know what? People from around the world aren't allowed to play soccer. Only British people are allowed to play soccer because it's a British guy who invented soccer. That would be one of the stupidest claims. So that's why, in my opinion, whenever I hear culture vulture, in my opinion, that's really fucking stupid. I don't know where people get, how people don't see that what they're saying is really stupid. It'll be like I said, Gucci saying, you know what? Italians saying only Italians can wear Gucci now because it was invented by Italian guy. It would be like, I don't know, basketball was invented by Canadians. It would be like Canadians saying only Canadians are allowed to play basketball because it was invented by Canadian. Canadian people invented basketball. The Canadian society invented basketball. The English society invented European football. So only the English society is allowed to play football. Only the Canadian society is allowed to play basketball because we invented it. Don't play basketball, that's going to be stealing. You're going to be a culture vulture. Come on, guys. That's fucking stupid. Like I said once, I did a podcast with shout out Dave Fouché. My cousin, Coach Delic, shout out Coach Delic. I think that this is the first time I shout him out on a podcast. My little cousin, he's like my little brother. I love him. He plays hockey, and now shout out to him. He's going to play Division I NCAA hockey in America. I think it's in Michigan he's going to play. I'm not sure, for the University of Miami. It's not in Miami. I also thought that the University of Miami would naturally be in Miami, but it's not. I think it's in Michigan. I'm not sure. Missouri, maybe. I think it's Michigan. Shout out to him. But hockey players are the most fucked up people, are the most fucked up athletes on planet Earth. Let me correct it. They're not the most fucked up people. They're the most fucked up athletes on planet Earth. Like I said with Dave Fouché, who was an ex-hockey player, guys, you're the only sport who can fight during a game, bare knuckle fight, bare fists, without gloves on, with your bare fists. You can fight an opposition player. Do you know how fucked up that is? Do you know how crazy that is? We hear about American football. Yeah, they hit each other with their heads. They tackle each other, whatever. Oh, that's so crazy. Hockey players, not only do they fucking play on skates, not only do they play on ice, not only do they have a little puck that could literally kill you if someone was to slap shot a little puck in your head, not only can they tackle hard on each other, you can fight with an opposition player. What the fuck? Guys, going in a hockey rink, it's like almost going to war. Like, Jesus Christ, you can hit the guy as hard as you want on the rink, and then if he's not happy with it, you can fight him with your bare knuckles. Jesus fucking Christ. Might as well add a gun in it, and you can, at the end of the day, you can kill him if you want to. That's, I mean, of course, that's hyperbole, but guys, hockey players are the most fucked up athletes on planet Earth. Man, kudos to them. I could never do that sport. Even, let's say, UFC fighters, they don't fight bare knuckle. They have gloves on. Boxers, they don't fight bare knuckles. They have gloves on. Hockey players can literally fight bare knuckled. And you only see the ref like looking at it. Yeah, like, go on and fight. On ice with skates on. Wow, man. Shout out hockey players. I'm not built like that. I'm not going to lie. I'm not built like that, but imagine people who played hockey since the age of 5 until 25. So for 20 years, every weekend, they go to war, basically. Man, fuck, man. They're built different, man, hockey players, man. Shout out to them, man. They're built different. Okay, so now, since I love movies a lot and TV shows a lot, especially movies, right now, LDC, Leonardo DiCaprio, is the best actor we have right now since he's a middle-aged man. Of course, Robert De Niro is better than him. Al Pacino is better than him. Daniel Day-Lewis is better than him. Many big names are better than him, of course. But they're all old right now. So they're like in their 80s. So they cannot play every single role that there is to be played. But since for an actor, I feel like for a male actor, you're in your prime when you're middle-aged man, because then you can play a variety of different roles. Because if you're a 19-year-old actor, you cannot play a 35-year-old police officer, right? I mean, you look too young. But if you, let's say you're middle-aged in your 40s, in your 30s, I feel like that's your prime as an actor, because you can play almost any role. And right now, LDC, I think it's like LDC, Leonardo DiCaprio, he's like 45. He's in his prime right now. And right now, he's the greatest actor we have, man. If you only look at all the movies he's done, man, every single movie he's done is top class. And I heard once, what's his name? Christian Bale, who's also a top class actor, like one of the greatest actors of all time, and currently one of the greatest actors. And he said, whenever you see a movie and you see that the main guy isn't Leonardo DiCaprio, it's because DiCaprio denied that role. He turned down that role, because every big name movie, every big name director, when he wants to make a movie, or a big producer, when he wants to make a movie, the first choice is always Leonardo DiCaprio. And then if he says no, and then we'll find someone else. And you hear Christian Bale saying that. He said every big movie that isn't starring Leonardo DiCaprio is because DiCaprio denied that role. He turned down that role before someone else could have gotten the chance. I'm a big Leo fan. He's one of the greatest of all time. Not the greatest of all time. Like I said, Al Pacino is better than him. Robert De Niro, Daniel Day-Lewis. In my opinion, Daniel Day-Lewis, in my opinion, is the greatest actor of all time. Since 1995, he did 6 movies. 6 or 9, I'm not sure, but it's less than 10, that's for sure. So it's either 6 or 9. And he won 3 Oscars. That's like a 50% success rate. He doesn't do many movies. He's like a weird actor. He's like a weird artist. Of course, most of them are. But he did 6 or 9 movies, and he won 3 Oscars. One for There Will Be Blood, another one for Lincoln, and another one for In the Name of the Father, I think. Or was it Gangs of New York? I think it was In the Name of the Father. But he did, since 1995, he did like 6 or 9 movies and he won 3 Oscars. That's why Daniel Day-Lewis, he's the GOAT actor. He's the main guy for method acting. He perfected method acting. And he's the GOAT of all actors. Him, for male actors, he's the GOAT. And for women and for female actors, it's Meryl Streep. She also has 3 Oscars. So does Daniel Day-Lewis. So Daniel Day-Lewis is the GOAT for male acting. And Meryl Streep is the GOAT for female acting. There's no debating it. So recently I watched a TV show on Netflix and it was all about Hollywood in the 50s. As you guys know, Hollywood has many closeted gay people. Many, because they're artists, of course. In general, artists, not all artists are gay, but mostly gay people are artistic in a way. I don't know why. I mean, all the top brand clothes producers are gay. I mean, I don't know why. Fuck, I'm not a psychologist, but also in Hollywood, since the beginning of Hollywood, there's always been many gays in it. Not only recently, just before they were closeted, they were hiding. But Hollywood has always been like that because Hollywood is artistic, right? They make movies, they make theater, whatever, and mostly many gay people love theater or whatever. It's like common knowledge. It's like a fact. I know me and my friends, whenever we see someone in theater and it's a guy, we're going to say, oh, he's gay, he's in theater. Who the fuck does theater? But people who do theater, they're the guys who end up being actors because it's basically the same thing. So Hollywood has always been like that. It's not only a new thing recently, since like the 2010s. It's always been like that. Just before they were closeted, they were hiding because society didn't accept gays as they do now. But it's always been like that. Hollywood has always been like that. Okay, so I don't know why. I don't know if it's a fashion trend. Maybe I'm only 24. Maybe I'm too old for it. But I see men on social media wearing crop tops. I see men wearing crop tops on social media. I mean, guys, a man to wear a crop top. Hey, yo, bring back bullying. I don't know, man. There's no setting. There's no reason for a straight man to be wearing a crop top. For us to see his belly button or his belly, whatever. There's no social setting. There's no reason for no man to be wearing no goddamn crop top out in public. Not even when you're alone at home and no one's there. You shouldn't be wearing a fucking crop top. I mean, Jesus Christ. Yo, I guess bring back bullying, I guess. I don't like saying it, but I mean, I see men on social media, straight men, wearing crop tops. And Duke Dennis, I'm pretty sure I saw you wear a crop top once. I don't really watch your content. I mean, kudos to you. You're a big famous YouTuber and streamer, whatever. But I think I saw you wear a crop top. And I know for a fact you're not gay. I mean, the way you act and you get a lot of women. But why the fuck would you wear a crop top? A crop top. You're a straight man and you're wearing a crop top. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, guys, let's stop all this nonsense. Okay, so while talking about actors, I met a couple of actors. I know many people who met real actors, very famous actors, and they all say, you know what? He's not like in the movies. He's different. He's very introverted. But in the movie, he plays like a criminal. Of course, he's an artist. When you see an actor play someone in a movie, he's not necessarily that person. He can be similar to that person, but he's an artist. He's acting. That's not who he is. So I don't know why people are surprised when they see interviews of actors and say, oh, they're way different in real life than in that movie. Of course, they're fucking acting. And what shook me the most was seeing Bobby De Niro. Man, that basically broke my heart a little bit. Because he always played the big mafia man in movies, Casino, Goodfellas, and many other movies. He always played the tough mafia guy. And that's the Robert De Niro that I fell in love with. Oh my God, he's a fucking G. In Goodfellas and Casino especially. He's a fucking G. But in real life, man, when I saw interviews of him, I got disappointed, man. He's a little wokey, man. He's like this little woke bitch, if I might add. I don't know why, but it fucking disappointed me because I had high expectations of him as an Italian American playing gangsters in movies. And then, you know what, he's like a top G. Maybe not as much as a gangster, of course. He didn't kill people or whatever. But I thought that, you know what, he wouldn't be a wokey. He would be a manly man. He would be a man. But from seeing interviews, man, how I was disappointed. It like broke my heart. It was like, I don't know. I guess that's why they say never meet your heroes. Never meet your heroes in person, because you're only going to get disappointed. And I felt like that's what happened with me and Bobby De Niro. And I feel like that's why they have that quote, never meet your heroes, because you're only going to get disappointed. Shout out Aiden Ross. Because recently, of course, since the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl halftime show, it's been trending on social media. Many people saying that only white people, only straight white men hated the Kendrick Lamar performance because they're white, blah, blah. I only saw white people, blah, blah, hating on white people. And then Aiden Ross, there was a clip of a white woman saying that, only white men hated on the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl halftime performance. And then Aiden Ross, because she was roasting white guys, then Aiden Ross said, and I quote him, of course, I'm going to paraphrase him a little bit, but he was quoting a little bit. Shut up, bitch. You know that you're only hating on white people because you know that you're allowed to hate on white people without getting canceled. And that's the only reason she was hating on white guys. I mean, I feel like we only kept it real. I mean, the Super Bowl halftime performance was shit. But I want to shout out Aiden Ross for saying the obvious, that people nowadays aren't afraid to be racist towards white people, especially white men, and even more especially straight white men, because they know that they'll never get canceled. You can say whatever you want against straight white men. I can right now on my podcast confidently say fuck straight white men, even though I'm a straight white man. I can say that and I know nothing will happen, that I won't get canceled. That's why people have the balls. I mean, I don't really call it balls because you know nothing will happen to you. Have the balls to talk shit against white people, and more specifically white men, and even more specifically straight white man. It's because they know that nothing will happen. Just like Aiden Ross said it to the girl, you know nothing will happen to you. That's why you have the balls to say it. Shout out to Aiden Ross for keeping it real. I mean, in this day and age and all this fake shit, we got to keep it real and just how it is. Okay, so I was a big football fan. And as a known guy who hates on Cristiano Ronaldo, all my friends always ask me, why when Cristiano Ronaldo flaunts himself, why when he talks highly of himself, people bash him? But when Muhammad Ali used to talk highly of himself or praise himself, no one bashed him. People called him the king. Why when Zlatan talks highly of himself and praises himself, no one bashes him? People laugh at it and people love him. But when Cristiano Ronaldo does it, everyone bashes him and everyone calls him a narcissistic piece of shit, an egomaniac, whatever. Let me tell you why. What's the difference? Cristiano Ronaldo has no charisma. Zero charisma. Muhammad Ali had a lot of fucking charisma. Probably one of the individuals with the most charisma of all time. And Zlatan Ibrahimovic also has a lot of charisma, just as much as Chuck Norris has a lot of charisma. That's why when people with a lot of charisma, when they talk highly of themselves, when they praise themselves, people fall in love with them. That's why, because they're charismatic. But when Cristiano Ronaldo talks highly of himself and praises himself, he does it in an uncharismatic way, and that's why people hate on him. Let me give you an example. Cristiano Ronaldo will say this: I'm better than Messi. I'm better than him. No one's good as me. No one's as good as me. I'm the best ever. That's how he's going to talk. But Muhammad Ali, he's going to like dramatize. He's going to make like a funny story out of it. He's going to say, I'm so fast. Last night, I cut the lights in my room. I was in the bed before the room was dark. I mean, that's funny, guy. That's charisma. He's a funny guy. That's why people love him. Now he wants to say about how fast he was, that he's so fast that when he cut the lights off in his room, he was in his bed before the room was dark. Now, of course, that's impossible, but it's funny. It's charisma. It's like Zlatan Ibrahimovic saying that when he talks about himself in the third person. It's funny, Zlatan is God. Zlatan, me. Whatever Zlatan can do, no other people can do, because Zlatan is not human. It's funny when he does it, because he doesn't bring down other people. Ronaldo brings down Messi when he talks the way he talks, and he has no charisma. I mean, Ronaldo, I don't want to hate on you, and all Cristiano Ronaldo fans, I don't want to hate on him, but he has no charisma, and that's why people hate on him. Imagine how much charisma Muhammad Ali had. Imagine how much. He's a black guy in America in the 50s and 60s, and everyone loves him. Of course, there's racists who hate him, like KKK, whatever. They're always going to hate him no matter who he is. Just as long as he's black, they're going to hate him. But in general, everyone loved Muhammad Ali. As a black man in America in the 50s and 60s, 90% of American population and the world population fell in love with Muhammad Ali. That's how much charisma he had. People saw past his color, especially in that day and age in the 50s and 60s. I mean, people were way more racist all across the world towards black people, and especially in America, also a lot in America. But he was so charismatic that people said, fuck it, I love him. We all love him. 90% of the population loved him. The world population. He's one of the most famous individuals of all time, Muhammad Ali. Who doesn't know about Muhammad Ali? Everyone knows about Muhammad Ali. And it's because his charisma lived on forever and ever and will live on forever and ever. So now talking about Muhammad Ali being one of the most influential and one of the most popular individuals of all time, in my opinion, guys, I think that the most famous individual of all time is Michael Jackson. After Jesus Christ, of course, I think Jesus Christ is the most famous individual of all time, if he existed. Of course, I'm a big Christian, but if we're keeping it real, maybe he never even existed. But if Jesus Christ existed and the picture we have that we created of Jesus Christ, that's the most famous individual of all time. I mean, literally everyone knows who Jesus Christ is. But I feel like since Jesus Christ, Michael Jackson is the most famous individual on planet Earth. I mean, who doesn't know who Michael Jackson is? I saw a podcast, people saying that if Michael Jordan was to walk in the same room as Michael Jackson, no one would care for Michael Jordan. And that's Michael Jordan, the basketballing GOAT, or like the second greatest of all time. I'm not sure, but I'm more Team Jordan than Team LeBron. But if Michael Jordan was to walk in the same room as Michael Jackson, no one would know, or no one would care, or no one would even notice Michael Jordan. That's how big Michael Jackson was. Recently, I was talking with my friends, and we were arguing about, is Messi and Ronaldo, are they the two most famous people on planet Earth right now and of all time? I mean, Ronaldo and Messi are possibly there. I mean, who doesn't know for Messi and Ronaldo? But I think that Michael Jackson is even above them. And this comes from a big European football fan. I'm like one of the biggest football fans there is. And I can admit that. I mean, Michael Jackson's fame, I mean, and at the time, there was no social media. So imagine if he was born in this day and age with social media. Jesus Christ, I think he would have like 1 billion followers. I know Ronaldo is the most followed guy on Instagram. He has like 600 close to 700 million followers on Instagram. He's number one on Instagram. But if Michael Jackson was born in this day and age and he had an Instagram account, he would have easily 1 billion followers, man. That's why I think that since Jesus Christ, Michael Jackson is the most famous individual of all time. And I think there's no debating it. I think it's just crazy. Okay, so recently I heard a lot about it when I was younger. People talking about the Illuminati. I watched a podcast recently of Call Her Daddy with Alex Cooper with Megan Fox. Megan Fox, I mean, in Transformers, she was probably one of the hottest women I ever saw. But let's get back to the subject. They were talking about the Illuminati. Then she was saying, oh, I think the Illuminati is real, blah, 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 blah. In my opinion, all conspiracy theories are dumb. I said it many times in many reality checks. There's not a single conspiracy theory that I believe in. I think they're all dumb. I think they're all made up. I think the Illuminati is made up. I think it's all dumb. I don't believe in it personally. Of course, you can be a person who believes in the Illuminati and conspiracy theories, and I'll love you to death. I mean, my brother, he also liked conspiracy theories a little bit. And I think there's some conspiracy theories that he gives attention to and that he maybe believes slightly into them. I don't care. I mean, it's his way of thinking. This is my way of thinking. I don't believe in a single conspiracy theory. I don't believe in the Illuminati. I think it's all dumb. I don't know. I think people made it for fun, like drama, whatever. There's always going to be conspiracy theories. There's always been conspiracy theories. And as long as human beings exist, there's always going to be conspiracy theories. But I've always found it funny when I hear people talk about the Illuminati, like, oh, they're the people who secretly control planet Earth. They're the people who secretly pull all the strings. They're the people who secretly control everything and decide how the world's gonna go. They make the world go spin round and round. I mean, in my opinion, that's all dumb. I always found it really fucking funny. So I don't know if people knew this, but recently I did a lot of research on Canadian soldiers during World War One. Yo, guys, I heard fucked up stories. I know for people who do live in Canada and for people who do know Canadians, we're known as really nice people. Like really just compassionate and nice people. That's what Canadians are known for globally around the world. Whenever I go somewhere and say that I'm Canadian or that I'm from Canada, they say, "Oh, you guys are so nice. You guys are so compassionate. You guys are such nice people." And it's true. I mean, living here for 25 years, I'm born in Canada for 24 years living here. I've always had this notion of Canadians being really nice. And I mean, naturally and logically, I just thought that since Canada and Canadians existed, that they've always been really nice and compassionate. But after hearing and reading stories about Canadians in World War One, yo, Canadians in World War One were fucking ruthless, man. They did fucked up shit. And from what I heard, they were the most like dangerous group of people during World War One. They did things that no other groups were ready to do. Germans didn't do as fucked up things that Canadians did. French didn't do. English didn't do the same things that the Canadians were ready to do. Just one story I heard that Canadians during World War One, it was mostly trenches in the battlefield. The Canadians would throw food over to the German side, and then once the Germans they got used to Canadians throwing them food, they said, "Oh, give us more food." And once the Canadians heard that the Germans were used to it and that the Germans were expecting food to be thrown, Canadians started throwing bombs because they knew that Germans are going to expect food, so they're going to welcome those throwings. But then Canadians, it's a smart move. It's a really fucking smart move, but it's a ruthless move. They would start throwing bombs. Jesus Christ, man. And not only that, I heard that Canadians, they were known as the stormtroopers during World War One, and that they took no prisoners, like zero prisoners. French army took prisoners, English army took prisoners, Germans took prisoners. Canadians didn't take prisoners. Canadians killed every German they would see. They didn't take fucking prisoners. They didn't give a fuck. Canadians during World War One were fucking ruthless, man. I don't know why. I mean, Canadians are known for being really nice people, really compassionate people, really non-violent people. But I guess during wartime, man, they don't give a fuck. Because during World War One, and it's because of all Canadian actions during World War One that after that they invented war crimes. Because they were like, Jesus fucking Christ, what Canadians were doing, the stormtroopers, we have to invent war crimes because they did fucked up shit. I mean, those are the Canadians that I love. I mean, shit, when shit hits the fan and it's fucking wartime, we gotta be on fucking top. And I mean, I was just really surprised to hear that Canadians were as ruthless as they were during World War One. Knowing how Canadians are, knowing how we are, living here for fucking 24 years. I mean, I was just really surprised. I mean, you guys can do a lot of research. You'll see. One theory that they had on trying to answer the question of why Canadians were so ruthless during World War One is that, I mean, it's a story. I don't know if it's true or not. They're saying that during World War One, Germans took a Canadian and they crucified him. Not in public, but they crucified him. And ever since Canadians heard that story, they felt like they had to put this revenge on Germans, and that's why they went so fucking ruthless and they were killing all the prisoners. They didn't take no prisoners. They did a lot of night raids. That's also one thing. Canadians did a lot of night raids during World War One. It's when it's night, Canadians would go with bayonets and with knives and they would kill Germans. Not even with guns. They wanted up close and personal, so it's more personal. I mean, that's fucking crazy. Germans were afraid of Canadians during night because he knew that while we're sleeping, while technically everyone should be sleeping, Canadians didn't give a fuck. They would mask their face with mud, with coloring, whatever, and they would go with their bare hands, with knives and with bayonets, and kill Germans up close and personal. Canadians were fucking ruthless during World War One. Okay, so let me finish this reality check with 10 life-changing quotes. It's something that my mom sent me, and it's 10 quotes that really, I feel like they're 10 beautiful quotes. So I'm gonna cite them and then maybe talk about them a little bit. But before that, of course, I've been talking for a lot. I need some fucking water in my gold cup. Okay, so we're back. Okay, so the 10 life-changing quotes. First quote, Life waits for nobody. Get up every day and keep pushing through no matter what. I think this is really good resilience. I mean, life, like it says, waits for nobody. Get up every day and keep pushing through no matter what. So no matter what happens to you in your life, first of all, it could have been worse. And just to get back to the fact, no matter what happens in your life, that's life, man. Life is unfair. And if I might add, life is unfair for everyone, which in a way makes it fair. But hey, that's another argument. But life is unfair. I mean, whatever happens, fuck it. Suck it up. That's life. And keep pushing because that's life, man. Life's not going to wait for you. Second quote, make sure you take good care of yourself if something happens to you. No, let me recite it. Make sure you take good care of yourself. If something happens to you, the world will move on and you will fall behind. And for this one, I think this is why health for me is wealth. Health is the most important because if you're not healthy, forget about all your dreams, forget about all your aspirations. If you're not healthy, you got to get your health back. So I feel like health is the most important. I feel like health has always been the most important and will always be the most important. And that's why I feel like it's a shame when people put their health to the side for whatever reason. Your health should always be your number one priority. Third quote, if you don't work for your dreams, someone will hire you to work for his dreams. I feel like this, I'm a little bit mixed because I feel like not everyone has big aspirations or big dreams. Some people are quite content with having a 9-to-5 job, having a normal life, having a wife, having kids, and just living a normal life. Some people are content, but if you're a very ambitious person and you want to accomplish a lot, this quote is very important for you and is very true for you because if you're not chasing your dreams fearlessly and with big balls, I mean, you're just going to end up working for someone who is chasing his dreams. So if you're a guy with a lot of ambition, don't be afraid. Go after your dreams, man. Or if you don't work for your dreams, someone will hire you to work for his dreams. Fourth quote, work in silence and celebrate in privacy. People love to ruin things. As the older I get, the more I realize that we don't actually have a lot of friends. If you're lucky, you have 2 or 3 real friends that you can really count on, not more than 2 or 3. Of course, when you're young, in high school or whatever, we all have like 20 or 30 friends. But when you get older, I feel like you realize that we actually don't really have as many friends as we actually think we do. And that they're not all real friends, that some of them are just acquaintances, and that you should watch out for who is your real friend and who isn't. So work in silence. Of course, at the end of the day, if you talk that you're going to do something and you don't do it, you're just a talker. You have to do the action. Some people talk, some people do. Be a doer. Don't only be a talker. You can be a talker if you're also a doer, just like Floyd Mayweather. He keeps talking about, I'm going to beat his ass. I'm the hardest worker, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to putting in the work, he puts in the work. And that's what's important. At the end of the day, if you talk or if you don't talk, at the end of the day, you have to put in the work. That's the most important. That's number one. Don't regret your past and don't dwell on it. Learn from it and move on. I'm a victim of this. I feel like many people are. We tend to dwell on our past. Like sometimes you can lay on your bed at 1 a.m. and start thinking about your past actions. Fuck, why did I do that? Why didn't I do that? I should have done that. I shouldn't have done that. And I'm a victim of it. Sometimes I tend to dwell on things I did in the past or things that I didn't do. I regret, fuck, why did I do this? Why didn't I do that? I'm not like Edith Piaf who sings, non, je ne regrette rien. I have many regrets and I'm only 24. I feel like we all have regrets. I feel like that's being a human being and living life. So I feel like the most important is not to dwell on it, to of course learn from it, but at the end of the day, you need to move on and not dwell on it, dwell on your past mistakes. No one cares about your feelings. Work harder to become better each day. That's fucking fact, man. Of course, sometimes you're like, I have to put in the work. I don't feel like it, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, no one gives a fuck about your feelings. Put in the work and become a better version of yourself. Ignore advice from anyone who doesn't live the life you want to live. If I might add, don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from. Don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from. It's as simple as that, guys. Quote number 7, rule over your emotions. A calm mind can handle any situation. This is fact. When I was younger, I was a victim of it. I feel like sometimes I will let my emotions get the better of me. I feel like we all do it. Some people more, some people less. But the most important is you have to, at the end of the day, you can have emotions. We all have emotions unless you're a fucking psychopath. But we all have emotions. The most important is to learn how to control them, how to navigate them, and to use them for your benefits, to use them to help you. And I feel like a calm mind can truly handle any situation that faces you. A calm mind, I feel like, is the most important, and we shall have a very calm and stoic mind. But of course, we're human beings with emotions. We're always going to have emotions. But the point is, and the goal is to learn how to handle them, and especially in hard and tough situations. Rule number 8, quote number 8. If you find someone better than you, don't hate on them. Ask them for advice and cooperate with them. I feel like, of course, envy and jealousy is always going to exist on planet Earth, but it's a negative emotion. You shouldn't let it affect you. You need to learn, even if you find someone who is better than you at something, like it says, you should ask for advice and look where you can learn from them. And so you, at the end, become a better version of yourself. I remember in October, when shout out Prime Break, which is a French Quebecois podcast, when they came to Mardi Gras, which is where I work as a bartender, they're way better than me. They're way more famous than me. They're way more successful in the podcasting world than me. They're just way, way better than Andrei Delic podcast. They're very successful. And I didn't really feel envy or jealousy. I don't know why. I didn't really care. But I remember going to one of the guys, what's his name, man? Fuck, I forgot his name. I won't shout him out, but I went to one of the guys and I was asking him for advice. I asked him, oh, you know what? How do you come up with questions? Because when you have a guest on, you know what? You want to have questions, of course, but you don't want the conversation to be robotic. You want to have like a natural flow of conversation while having questions, whatever. So I was basically asking him for advice. I also asked him, when do you know when to stop a podcast? Because when I do an episode with a guest, you know what? I want to get all my questions out. I want to get as much information out. But you also want to know like when to end the podcast. Of course, I'm still a rookie. I'm nowhere near Prime Break. Shout out Prime Break. I'm nowhere near them. Emile Bedard. Shout out Emile Bedard. He's the guy I asked questions for. I asked advice. And that's why I feel this quote is very important, because when you find someone better than you, me with Emile Bedard, he's way better than me in the podcasting world, I asked him for advice so that I, at the end of the day, can become a better podcaster and more successful. Rule number 10, actually. You are truly at peace with yourself when you mind your own business. Of course, as human beings, we're always going to think that the grass is greener somewhere else. We're always going to compare with others. But I feel like you're always going to be at peace when you just focus on yourself, when you focus on your day-to-day routine to become a better version of yourself. And of course, because you never know what the other person's life is. Even if on the outside you think his life is better, maybe on the inside he's dying and he's fucking miserable. So never compare yourself with others. Always just focus on yourself. You want to become the best version you can of yourself, and you want to slowly, day by day, step by step, improve yourself and become, at the end of the day, the best version you can of yourself. That was it, guys, for reality check number 11. Peace out.